Well, I'm just basically listening to everybody else's input here. I'm not really sure what to say other than, I consider you brothers and sisters in the quest for establishing a government that by the people, for the people, and with the people that will bring about a new world. And we're certainly all ready for it. And I think the energy is growing around the country and probably around the world as well. It does seem like we're out in the desert sometimes, but in people's hearts, I do think that they're seeing how ridiculous all this is, and that there has to be some fresh answers and some new ways of going about things, because we all know what the definition of insanity is. And apparently there's a lot of people that still think that they can continue with the old. It's like the scriptures say, that you can't put new wine into old wineskins. And I think our ways of governing, our ways of conflict resolution, our ways of managing the world around us in a way that's beneficial to all is the ways that we're using are not working, and that there's new ways and new ideas and new energy that we can tap into. And but we're gonna, Nissan, you're right. I mean, we have to work together. We all have our different little pet projects and all, but I do think we all are moving in the same direction, and we're all looking for that better world. And there's a lot of us now who are, ready to roll up our sleeves and get in there and do the hard work that needs to be done. That's good news. That's good news. But in our society, we're so into this immediate gratification thing, and it's just not, it doesn't work that way. I mean, we're trying to build a political party here in North Carolina, and it's not going to happen overnight, folks. We got to get in there, and we got to just continue to push forward our ideas and come up with new ways of doing things. And I think when people start to see that and see our commitment, I think they're going to realize, hey, this can be the real deal. It's not some flash in the pan. It's not some quick little gimmick or what have you. It's people who are sticking together and moving forward with the same energy of change and fairness and equality and integrity that is so lacking in our world today. And all I can say is I'm here to cheer everybody on, and hopefully they'll be here to cheer me on. But there's so many different ideas about how to go about it, and we have to stick together instead of becoming separated. Well, my idea is better than your idea, all that crap. We just say, well, we're moving in the right direction together. Let's hold hands, and let's try to get through our differences, because that's how we teach the rest of the world. How do we resolve our differences without going to war? How do we work through the conflicts? How do we make deals that have integrity to them? I mean, not the kind of stuff you see in Washington now. So yeah, this is what I'm seeing in this group here, is that we're playing with this. We're trying to figure it out and figure out how to move forward with each other, and in a way that's complementary to each other, as opposed to let's all dig our heels in and declare that we're right, and then everybody goes home feeling cheated. So we don't want that. So anyway, that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I'm glad to see there's other folks like you out there. You're inspiring to me that you got really good ideas, and you're committed. I've seen many of you guys before, and working on other projects together, and I'm with you guys on just about all the things you're talking about. So keep it up, and I want to be a part of the change and a part of the movement forward.
Thanks, Scott.
I love it. I love it.
I think TC's got a tear in his eye.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's like I was saying today that when we have different ideas, we actually complement each other. And and together we make a bigger picture than either one of us alone. And so it's like we don't have to think alike. We just do become our better self and raise our vibration to a place of togetherness and sharing.
Well, yeah, it's also about the whole thing, and I'm kind of a spiritual guy, so I kind of got into this political stuff in a secondary way. But I think my personal belief is we are all gods, we are all connected to God, we are all one. And when we start thinking that we are separate from one another, that's where we get into problems. And we have to start realizing that we are the same energy of love, but we have different factions. I mean, there are many different expressions of love out there and truth. So it's not always as you see it. It's sometimes others have a truth of their own. Doesn't mean that it's kind of like if all the religions of the world would say, mine is not the only way, mine is just another way. Wow, do you realize what kind of change could happen there? You know what I'm saying? If we just said, okay, this is my truth, this is your truth, and we respect each other's truth, although we both believe in love or the power of love or whatever higher force you want to believe in, and just go with that. But I mean, you think about over the years, over the millennia, when you had the Crusades and people killing people in the name of Christ or name of Allah or Buddha or whoever. And it's just insane that man has been able to manipulate and say, the God said this, and if you don't do this, then we will cut your hand off. And I mean, most people with common sense would go, some of these things don't really reflect what love is.
Really?
But they stick with it, they stick with these centuries old laws and rules that were developed, I think, more than likely to control people. I mean, but at any rate, if it's kind of sounds like a kumbaya kind of thing, but in reality, if we can, understand that we're all interested in the same goals, we want a safe world. We want to be able to manage the resources wisely. We want everybody to get health care. We want everybody to have a roof over their head and medical care and all this other good stuff, which is doable if we are responsible and if we are able to manage the resources in an equitable way.
Listening to what Scott said rings a big bell for me. And the thought about we are all connected, we are all we are all one in the ultimate view. That, it seems to me, is what is missing. That is what creates greed. You have to believe that you're separate in order to be greedy.
Well, the concept that you are better than, or another human being is better than another.
Yeah. I mean, we really need a return to spiritual wholeness. That would solve all of our other problems, but maybe you start with the other problems and you work to that. I'm not sure. Our nation has always been a nation of individualists. That's like the myth, the big mythology of America is that you can make it on your own. You can pull yourself up by your own bootstraps. You can do anything that you want to, and you don't need anybody else to help you with it. And that is rooted in this whole idea of separatism. So somehow, I'm just kind of applauding for what you had to say, Scott.
Thank you, Eddie. I'm going to do something I don't normally do. Because you guys were talking about this. I normally don't like making more arguments or more judgments. I'm more about factual, intellectual conversation and rooted in something I can touch that's tangible. But if I had to make them all, today we live in a system where we live in, have the ability to produce anything we want. We have a load of abundance. Back in the day, a lot of people used to starve and die from diseases because they didn't have medicine. They didn't have be able to grow enough food. They didn't have to, you know, be able to save their own children or whatever. Well, we live in relative safety. But I have to ask this more question. Is a system that cannot provide for everyone less more than a system that can provide for everyone but chooses not to? To me, it's a more moral evil that we have access to the things that could save lives and to make people's lives better. And people actively choose to deny that. They're actively denied that. Not because they don't have access to that. Not because it doesn't exist, but because they are denied the access to that. That, I believe, is the greatest moral sin. And that I will conclude.